is going to be a thermal imaging camera. So you guys should have definitely seen these on TV. So this is a real deal. This is a FLIR. It's just meant for a cell phone. So it's just a phone attachment. So as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So we're going to be doing a few starts and stops as we kind of go throughout the night. What do we think? What are we looking for in this guy? You guys have all seen the TV shows. Heat. Not heat. No. Cold spots. Yeah. So obviously I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. So I'm warm inside the photo. On a bridal party, a bachelorette party, I'm the hottest thing in the video. So, but this is obviously not that. I was trying to get a smile out of Gil. So, now, what are we looking for in here? The blue and black. Those are the coldest areas. They're either going to start taking shape on their own or they're going to start moving on their own. I normally look for 15 to 20 degree temperature drops. I do keep track of temperature, and I have an ambient temperature that is, in the center of the screen, but there's also a blue dot that's kind of bouncing around, giving us the coldest spot in the frame at the moment. The cool thing is that actually records, so when you get your video back, it helps to guide your eye on where the coldest spots are. So again, it's not always the anomaly we're looking for, but it kind of helps as a guide. So Gil, because you're the silent commentator, this one's going to go to you. You're going to hold it basically one-handed, right-handed. This is your start and stop. We already have the tutorial, so perfect. I always kind of give it a few minutes to recalibrate anyway, so we're well past a few minutes. So who the heck were Eliza and Charles Pinckney? First off, you need to know that I'm not going to be giving everybody questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the Big Red Barn. I'm going to withhold information on purpose, so that way everybody has a genuine experience.
4.1.
Okay, we're going to escalate it. Anything above 4.6 at this point.
Okay.
So, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. That's why we look for secondary verifiers. We don't know which Chuck we're chatting with. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us. I hate politics. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. Eliza, she married Charles at a young age according to today's standards.
14.8.
Holy cow. According to today's standards. I say today's standards because if we're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, we're not going to get numbers like 12 and 14 like the colonial times that she came from. So, but the reason I bring that up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. So sometimes if you ask her how old she was when she got married, sometimes you might hear Charles's age because he's the one that's actually here. It's kind of a verifier for us. Back to Eliza. She married him because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so that way he can see them. Eliza doesn't believe he's dying, so she gets married. And you don't get married in 1744 to get a green card.
13.9.
You get married because you're in love. I got him. Kind of hang on to those numbers. So 13.9 is the last highest one I heard.
Yep.
She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, Dad starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for a few hours that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye, makes her blue jeans blue. That's how we use it. But when she got it, she had no idea what to do with it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. They're basically agriculturists because they came straight over from Africa. So they know what to do with it. She experimented with it right here. Once she figured it out, she moves it to another plantation, gets a hold of her father and says, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. So now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times, which is something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring stuff about Eliza. Let's go through the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here. You didn't want to go on just a history tour. So, I usually hand out like a series of questions. So with you using 2 different devices, this is going to be very interesting. So I'm actually going to give the series of questions to Kathy about Eliza's death. So Kathy, you can ask her anything you want to about her death, how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So that's like a full series of questions that we would normally get answers from your type of spirit box. With yours, we're going to go after a couple of different things. We're going to see if we can get initials from Eliza, because her initials would be ELP, obviously out of the spirit, like the Ouija board style, or if we can get her to spell her full name out. We've had that before, but it was very jumbled. So, and we did have one extra letter in there. So if I'm remembering the spelling correctly, it came out E-U-L-Z-I-A. So we had all of the letters for Eliza with a U mixed in. I was very impressed. That was the first week we had it. The other questions that you can go after is what happened to the mansion. It's obviously not here anymore. If you get an answer, oftentimes we'll get a date along with it. That's the full date, like as far as the month, day, and year. Like we'll get all 3 digits for that. The other piece is you can ask about the children if you'd like. The only thing I ask is you ask how many and what their names were. So but that's it. Kind of leave it alone because there's a tragedy in there. If we poke the bear, things kind of stop happening. Like these EMF spikes that we're getting, which are very good to start off with. And I'll be honest, we didn't get that high last night. Like I think we got all the way up to 10, and that was the highest one. But we are going to spread out in this area, but I'm going to keep Jay back for a few minutes so I can show him how to use that REM pod.
14.9.
14.9. I think we had a 14.8 before. So let's spread out. Let's kind of see what we got going on here. Luckily, we only have 2 vehicles in here tonight, so we actually have plenty of space to work with. So again, nice slow movements out of yours, Gil, which looks like you're like, I need to give you a job because that's the stillest videography I've ever seen in my life. So, you wouldn't believe half the videos I get when I have to watch them back in the morning. So everybody's kind of wobbling around and bouncing. But yeah, the slower the movements out of yours, the better. You said 14.9 was the next one, and then you had 13 something?
Yep. 13.7, something like that.
Go to 7. Okay. So at this point, we still want to escalate it. That way I don't have just a whole notebook full of numbers. So anything at this point below 14.9, I don't want to know anything about it.
Okay.
The normal average spike for this area, by the way, is normally an 18 to 22. Like I'm usually, like that's a normal, calm Charleston night. Fridays and Saturdays we normally don't see them go that high.
Right.
But with that said, let's kind of, now that you've seen some numbers, let's talk about that motion sensor. Pull up the antenna on the left. Turn it, it's not very long. Turn the device around to where you can see the back of it. There's a little flap. You're going to lift it up this way, and there'll be 2 buttons underneath that you're going to need. The one on the right, it's closer to the edge. So click it into the device. It's very small. You'll feel it quick. Still on. Nope. Yeah, use a nail if you have to. This is why I have you guys do it. This can be a little sensitive. Every time you move, it's going to make some kind of green dot. It's almost guaranteed. Yeah, this thing isn't meant to be walked around.
Right,
so I set the proximity pretty small, so not every insect over here is going to make it go off. Here's the kind of way this is going to go. Because you're going to make it go off, there's a way to kind of test to see if it came from you or not, if you're getting a color. So notice that there's a bunch of different colors in there, blue, purple, red. If you get like a blue or a purple, stop. Hit the reset button, which is where your thumb is. It's the lowest button. It'll reset the device. Go ahead and reset. And it'll reset the field on the antenna. Okay. If it goes back to blue, it's obviously not going to the field. Okay. So it's kind of a false positive reset. That's the way I like to look at that. The other cool thing about this, you can ask for colors. Hey, Eliza, if you go to blue, get a blue, reset, ask for a different color. Make sure you're getting a direct response. So if it doesn't go back to green right away and it's still staying on blue, keep resetting it until it goes back to green and it's quiet, and then ask for that different color. Okay. And I use blue as an example here because of the ending. Pick whatever color you want to. Same thing with the secondary colors. Go to purple, ask for secondary. Go to red. It's very rare to get a red because to get a red they have to touch it. And I've only seen that one time on red. So that's a big rarity. They're actually that close. And again, test it out, have fun with it. Everybody technically should be following you because you're going to know where the hotspots are. So again, this kind of keeps tab on Bill's device because if he does have something that temperature drop, like he'll be able to find it if it's legit or not. Again, you're probably seeing a wavering of between 77 to 79 degrees at that bottom, I'm guessing. Yep. So again, we have a little bit of that breeze coming through. I keep an eye on that because it may drop to 76 if it does start to get really chilly with the next cool breeze coming through here. But again, I'm not excited about that. I'm excited if it drops to 65, 60 degrees, that kind of mentality. So I usually look for 15 to 20 degree drops. Okay. That's usually what I'm after. So, but all right, I'm gonna go see what the 2 ladies are up to because I think you got a good handle on that camera, man. Like I'm telling you, I need to give you a job. It's funny. How's it doing?
know, I just, I thought I was, with the corner of my eye, I could have swore I saw somebody standing right there, kind of spooked me a little bit, so.
They have.
Yeah.
Now with that camera too, it's not always a real-time thing.
Yeah.
I send that thing to YouTube so that way you guys can watch it however you want to.
Yeah.
On your TV, however. I mean, I watch it on a large computer screen. And normally if I'm doing an investigation with a small team, like I'll just set that thing up and let it run in a room or
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and I just watch it later, see what
Yep.
kind of pops up.
Yep.
But the technology of it is fascinating.
Yeah.
Especially when you start diving into thermodynamics and how it all works and why it works that way. Like, it's fascinating. I've upgraded that camera 3 times to get us to that, like that blue dot piece.
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what the hell I would do with the other cameras. They're just sitting in my office.
Wow.
Like, I should just sell them, get rid of them. But that thing there, that is a high recommendation for me. I love that thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And to find the right phone to be able to handle the software for it,
Yeah.
like, that was a struggle. Like, that's a construction phone.
Really?
Yeah. It was one of the few phones we could find that would actually take the software and run it properly. And we put an extra casing around it. Even though it is a construction phone, can take a beating. You gotta imagine that thing gets dropped all the time. So, again, we had to find something pretty durable. You know, I only replace this stuff once a year. So, once it gets used for a year, whether it's working or not, I just replace it.
Wow.
So I'm getting ready to buy another one of those, and I'll probably end up selling that one for about half the price I paid for it. I want to say that was about $450 just
Yeah.
for the attachment.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
But the phone actually, believe it or not, was pretty cheap. I had to eBay that one. That was only like $50 for me.
Wow.
It's an older phone. I think it's an S8 construction or S8 active or whatever it is. But yeah, that phone is probably 4 or 5 years old, but I bought it brand new because somebody had it just sitting in a stockpile. I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a case and a battery on it anyway. I don't care what the hell it looks like. Screen ain't crap. Not really. Yes.
I haven't done anything. Yeah.
Get you guys some answers. You've been out here holding that thing up for a while. Go ahead and hit that stop button and give your hand a break. What do you remember?
So much stuff, I don't even know if I can remember them all. I just
Did you get any names out of it? Like down the alley, we never know what's going to show up there. If people start to come through here, just kind of pretend that you're not filming them. That's the only
Yes.
thing I ask. Because they did not pay to get filmed. So this is Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Of course, I tell the story a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. I'm going to give you different details than the other staple ghost stories around town. Here's how the story goes. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney that is helping her with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. As he's coming into town, he's riding a coach, and the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed at where he was going to drop him to stay. So it wasn't a good start. Somebody was walking by that's seeing all this that's going on, that knows the coachman is going to try to kill this newcomer to Charleston. His name is Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. Even before we had the Ouija board device, RI used to show up. What was it?
8.4.
That's actually
Get out.
Wow.
I got goosebumps now.
That get out and skip its space. And now you have an 8.4? That's good stuff. We're going to hang out, Dr. Ladd, because you give me too much data. Wow. I don't normally expect any kind of ratings out of here. I did get like a 13 or something here last week, which I was surprised at, but that 8.4 is surprising too. It stays pretty low in here. But RI has been shown on the other spirit boxes in the past, and now that we have the Ouija board, it's part of the reason why I brought it out tonight, because I wanted to test it in this location specifically. But he tells the doctor, I know this guy is going to try to kill you. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, and you'll be safe and good to go. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer. Him and Ralph become friends, and the longer the doctor stays in Charleston, the more money he's making. So he's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. Amanda says she's going to be moving down soon, and Dr. Ladd becomes known as the Whistling Doctor because he whistles all the time. Every haunted city you're going to go to has a cliched whistling ghost. So just kind of keep that in the back of your brain. Savannah, St. Augustine, I'm sure they all have one. But we'll explain that proof of that of this one later on. Him and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. So they talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare, and they're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. The argument turns into, a pretty heated argument when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. So they go their separate ways, pretty pissed off, and they actually, because Ralph has friends here, he goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of thing. So Dr. Ladd sees the ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Duelers Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel, by the way. Ralph has his one bullet, though. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor.
Ugh.
The doctor doesn't die, but he drops to the ground. His friends pick him up, carry him home. He dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment, and he probably tried to bleed this out himself because he is a doctor. So, the campfire part of this is that as you walk through the alley, you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor. I do have things I can't debunk, but if you're going to try this on your own, because remember, I'm not going to take you all the way through this alley, turn your voice recorders on your phone, listen to it later. Every local knows this story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street from the other side throws a whistle down the alley. It's not going to be obvious. It's going to be very faint. And you all hear how quiet it is now? It's like this on a busy Saturday afternoon on East Bay Street. It is always this quiet. There's also rumor that you can hear gunshots, but I don't have any, kind of mentality of that. So I don't have any proof of it whatsoever. So, were you guys getting weather notifications or something?
No, you said put the thing on.
Oh, no, you're using my voice recorder right
that.
now. I'm saying if you're going to
okay.
do this later on after, during your...
Oh.
Yeah, you already have my voice recorder running, so...
Okay, that's what I thought, but I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Oh, you both whipped out your phone at the same time, and I'm like, is there a weather alert? that I missed?
No, I was going to do
Are we going to get soaked real quick? Do we need to take
I don't
cover?
pay attention to weather alerts.
Oh, gotcha. I'm like the new weatherman.
We're from the south, so you see a tornado coming, you go out on the lawn.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see that final flag guard?
Yeah. I'm from Ohio. I'm fully familiar with tornadoes passing by my front lawn.
Yes.
So, here's why I got kicked out of here. This is the fun part. So this alley is older on the other side. It didn't go all the way through. So that means that the bricks on that side are older. Because I'm sure it picked up, I do a lot of research on history. So On the other side, those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint and fingerprint swipes at the end of the alley. However, I would always point them out, but it wasn't a matter of like, let's stop and get a reading, because I treat that brick the same way I do any other grave. That kid's not staring at the brick in the afterlife. So, November 26th of 2020, my entire team of 10 decided that they're going to try to get a reading on spirit boxes, EMF meters, and line yards. Keep in mind, we weren't using earbuds yet, so that noise you're hearing in your ear was open air. I'm trying to rush this team along, and it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. The gentleman had seen us out there for the last time. He come out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. So the next day was Thanksgiving. Did not have a tour. I worked in retail management for over 20 years for Walmart. I am not working another Thanksgiving ever in my life. So the next day after that, I got a phone call. It's November 28th. Yes, the dates mean something. The phone call asks me, it's the tourism office, to either go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or to reroute my entire group. I decide it's not fair for my 10 to try to investigate around 20 to 60 other people coming through here, because we're allowed to go to 20 people. I just won't do it. So I told my team that night, I don't even believe in this pirate story I'm about to tell you at the next stop, but we're going to wing it and see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the female pirate Anne Bonny. Wow. So I was pretty like, all right, maybe something's going to happen. We'll see what I know. So we get up there, and I told a little bit I did know about piracy, and somebody else hears the number 300. So I'm like, I have no idea what that means. I'm doing the research the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720.
Ooh.
We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her trial.
Wow.
So, again, I have read more damn books on pirates since that day than I ever wanted to in my entire life because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So, I've learned a crap ton about pirates trying to piece together a factual tour on pirate lore. So, the next place we're going to go to, we're going to be discussing the female pirate Anne Bonny. But we're also going to be in an area where it's a hit or miss location. Anne is said to be seen all over town. We're either going to have a ton that's going on in that area, or we're going to have nothing. It's one of those spaces. So, these, especially with the different devices that we're using tonight, it can be very touch and go with your device. So you're going to be the kind of the determiner of what happens because of what your device actually does up there. You have all kinds of letters popping through. Like, what do you have going on?
I had boy came up and then A, B in a row.
Like, it just seems like it's
Boy is B-O-Y was at the first one, and then A-B toward the end. B-R-B, be right back.
Yeah, pretty sure they don't know our text language from the 1780s. We also get the word cow here a lot because this used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city, so that was its nickname. I also like to tell you what this gate is before we leave the space. This gate was in the event that there was a loser to the duel. Remember that this alley didn't go all the way through this way.
Right.
They needed a shortcut to get to the cemetery going that way. Otherwise, they'd have to walk all the way down the alley and bring them around on Queen Street to get to St. Philip Cemetery. This gate wasn't here. My guess is that it was put here in the early 1900s based on the wrought iron work that's on it. But again, this gate wasn't here, but I like to call this the death gate because if there was a loser, you got to carry the dead weight somewhere so you can go celebrate the winner with a pint.
Yeah.
So, not to mention the pirate house was relatively close by. It was a local pub. So that was somewhere where they would actually go have a drink to celebrate whatever winner they had. So, we heard anything before we leave the area? Because I don't have anything going on with my word list that I saw.
Nothing.
Crush statue. Statue. Weird. Because at first look at it was statue, but it's actually statute. Very interesting. And the name Grace showed up again. Did you hear Grace earlier? Very weird. Alright, let's go up and talk about some crazy pirates. I'm excited about your reading. So in the event we have the kind of, shaking of, Charleston, you can turn those turnbuckles because there's bolts on the end of it, and it's supposed to straighten the building back up again to keep it from further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring it up is because these are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713, a long time ago, as we heard on Missy's device. So, we're here because Anne Bonny came to Charleston during this building's construction. This is what I call a familiar. It's like using a toy to attract a child ghost. It's the same principle. We don't have many buildings this old in Charleston, which is why she's said to be seen all over town. So hopefully we're going to capture something tonight. Here's how the story goes. Follow me, there's a lot of twists. First off, this government building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like your government? It's not building 10 years? No, not at all, right? 1708 is when the story begins. A young lady named Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. She comes here with her father and his mistress. That mistress turns out to be Anne's mother. You guys with me so far?
Mhm.
The three of them are running away from his angry wife. So they leave Ireland to come here. How pissed off was she? Just saying that she had to leave the damn country. Anyway, they land in Georgetown. It's just north of here. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to Charleston to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. Young Anne back home in Ireland is said to have killed one of her servants when she was just a young girl, like 7, 8, 9 years old, with a knife to the belly. I just want to give you this girl's mentality as we kind of go through her history. So, early 1700s. I know, it seems hard to believe, but it is one of those pieces where she wasn't always supervised. Let's fast forward. Building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne is stoked because she wants to get her freedom, just like a man. And she thinks piracy's the way. She falls in love pretty quickly.
Is that thief?
First guy she falls in love with is James Bonney. You already see where this one's going because you already know her married name of Anne Bonney. But Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They elope to Jamaica. Obviously, we now have Anne Cormack turned to Anne Bonney. But when she got down there, this is not the Captain Jack Sparrow type of fellow that she was hoping for, right? Like every young lady wants. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. So he's basically reporting back where all the men are so they can be attacked. This is not what she wants. He's a coward. So a few years later, she falls in love again because she's stuck in this marriage because he won't give her up. She falls in love with John Rackman, a.k.a. Calico Jack. So,
Gentleman Jack.
Calico Jack, no, you're thinking of Gentleman Steve. The gentleman pirate Steve Bonnet.
Yeah, so I thought they also. Okay. I thought it was
Well,
also.
Calico was very unique to him because of the things that he wore. But Calico Jack is literally the person that they based the Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So again, very colorful character. So this is the Captain Jack Sparrow she was hoping for. He has his own ship. She wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a cruise. Anybody know why?
It's bad luck.
Right, bad luck. So people think rape. That would be my first thought. But it is what it is. So bad luck. So he makes a deal. You dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this cross-dressing because Dad used to keep her hidden as an apprentice boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. She knows it's a man's world, so she's like, whatever, let's do this. Let's put two and two together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. These are friends of mine. Go have the baby. Come back later. We'll figure it out. Pirates work by the seat of their pants, right? So she goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. I can't find any research that tells us what happened. The other part of this is that she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry because everybody's going to know it's like a guy to be part of the pirate.
Mitzi.
Both had it at the same
My
time.
initials came up, MMC.
MMC.
That's weird. All right, what you
Questions
want
going
to?
on
I got a real weird. I got an elephant. Elephant and the Bonnie.